In the large world of Naruto, we've seen many rivals along the story. These typically range from the new beginnings to the mightiest Kages. Let's jump into it, rank them from the worst to the best rivalries. We are starting with E tier, aka the below average tier. And this tier is deserved for Kiba and Naruto. In the beginning, Kiba showed us some potential. Maybe, just maybe, he was even stronger than Naruto before he learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu. His ability was basically and the writers didn't really do much with it, so he became the weakest ever existing rival in Naruto's existence.
聞いたことない？俺が自ら火影の座を降りたって話。
そうだったの？
ああ、俺とナルトで火影争いをしていてな。あるってずっと言ってたから、ならしょうがねえって譲ってやったんだ。これはナルトも知らない本当の話だ。
へえ。
Next, we move on to the D tier, aka the tier where we know the rivalry existed but couldn't really follow through it. Consisting of Minato and A, Itachi and Tenma. Almost every anime has speedy characters that make the animators sweat in most cases. Minato was mentioned as the fastest man alive countless times, even faster than lightning. A. Later we find out they fought many battles without a clear win, although A admitted he couldn't surpass the Yellow Flash. The other pair is almost forgotten, even though this little fella named Tenma played a huge role in Naruto. Why, you may ask? Because he was Itachi's teammate, just like Naruto to Sasuke. We didn't see much of the missions they went on, but on one of them he was killed by the masked man, making Itachi awaken his Sharingans. Next is the C tier, aka the average tier, starting with the infamous Akatsuki, Hizen and Kakuzu. These two almost immortal partners didn't like each other from the beginning. You could even say Kakuzu hated Hizen with all 5 of his hearts. They fought side by side, attacking the enemy, and possibly their partner, knowing they wouldn't go down so easily, and for some reason, I just find that so hilarious. Could you imagine blowing up your partner to pieces, stitching him back together because your boss told you to, and then just having lunch with him?
That should do it.
Following with Neji and Hinata, they had some reasoning to their beef, but it's been dealt with pretty fast. Basically, Neji didn't know the whole truth about his father, which I'm gonna cover later in the video, and Hinata was just refusing to bow down in front of him. There is not much else to say about it, really. Mifune and Hanzo's rivalry is going back pretty far in the time. Mifune, the leader of the samurai, couldn't really defeat Hanzo in his time, and he got one of the worst punishments in anime history. Okay, maybe not the worst, but samurai is known for their hair. They grew it out, and losing it means defeat. Now just imagine, you are the leader of the samurai, and in your battle against Hanzo you got poisoned, and now pretty much the top of your head is bald, but you have your facial hair. It's kinda giving me this vibe.
Okay.
Still, when they revived Hanzo, he could get his revenge, so it worked out, I guess. A pretty average rivalry is Lee and Neji.
I mean, it's alright.
Of course, Lee doesn't know how to use chakra, so he wants to overcome Neji by his physical strength, revolving in Neji saying no most cases. This is basically the kids' version of their sensei and Kakashi. Finishing the C tier with a cultural difference, Izuna and Tobirama. Before Konoha was founded, the Uchihas and Senjus were in war non-stop. Izuna and Tobirama were both the younger brother of leaders, and they were perfectly matched for each other. Now we move on to the B tier, aka the above average tier. These relationships have some spice to them. Starting with Gengetsu and Mu. Some rivalries, even last for generations. That's because Mu, the second Tsuchikage, and Gengetsu, the second Mizukage, were so evenly matched that they sent each other to sleep in the same time in one of their battles. Even though they were revived in the fourth Great Ninja War, they immediately started clashing. Yeah, they are rivals, but different personalities also, since we can see Gengetsu getting mad at Mu for helping the ninjas win the war. Next, we circle back to the Hyuga family with Hinata and Hanabi, our first sibling rivals. Hinata was kind and not the ruthless fighter her father wanted her to be. Happily for him though, he had another child for that. Hanabi was just a child, yet she already had bloodlust in her eyes. Although their relationship didn't turn out violent, they pushed each other to better themselves. Next, taking a look at the politics side of Konoha, we got Danzo and Hiruzen. They started off as teammates, but their vision didn't match. Danzo was basically the secret service leader in Naruto, the leader who had the heart to order around what Hiruzen couldn't do. Their rivalry wasn't met in the battlefield, but in secret meetings, which later came to light. Ending the whole Hyuga shenanigans, we have Hizashi and Hiashi. Hizashi was born a couple of seconds later, and his life turned out to be a nightmare because of that, safe to say. He had his powers sealed and everything was handed to Hiashi. It was pretty hard for him to take in, but he did anyways. Time went on, Hiashi had her daughter Hinata, and they kidnapped her. He saved her back, but turns out he was messing with the wrong people. They demanded his head. Being the selfless hero Hizashi, he sacrificed himself to save his beloved brother from... And this is why Neji and Hinata had beef to begin with. Neji didn't know the whole truth until the end of the Chunin exams. Now, two Akatsuki members, Deidara and Sasori. I don't know how you can be the leader of the Akatsuki and pair people so badly they never have the same philosophy. Okay, it's hard to find people with the same mindset and strength, but still. While Deidara and Sasori were going back and forth, they kinda had the same vision. What they were doing was art. Talking about art, this might be controversial and might shock a lot of people, but I'm placing Sakura and Ino into the B tier. Yes, they didn't have that strong fighting rivalry, and yes, they weren't the most impactful. But we can see them growing up together, how their friendship evolving into that fighting rivalry sometimes. And just because of that, I'm confidently putting them in the above average tier. And while I'm not a girl, it's quite real what these two went through together. Now it's time for the A tier, aka the legendary level duos. First off is Gamabunta and Manda. You don't really see this level of depth in anime anymore, that even your summons have rivals. Toads and snakes are enemies in real life as well, but to see them on the screen and throwing each other comments, it's just priceless. Not to mention how giant they were. I remember being a little kid and just witnessing with open mouth when they first appeared on the telly. Next, the two most important brothers, Indra Ashura. Although they were sons of the Sage of Six Paths, Indra inherited a genius mind, while Ashura inherited love and compassion. Their conflict birthed a cycle of reincarnation that would echo through centuries, eventually in Naruto and Sasuke, following with none other than the legendary Sannin, Orochimaru and Jiraiya. While we don't see much screen time of the two together, their stories are ancient tales parents tell their kids. While they started in the same team, Jiraiya believed in redemption and Orochimaru in ambition without limits. Their battles were personal, especially after their friendship was betrayed. Closing off A tier with their students, Naruto and Sasuke. I don't need to explain to anyone about their relationship, but I don't think they would be such a big thing if the show wasn't about them. Many epic fights were animated because Naruto couldn't take rejection to his prom invitation, but I feel like that's not really a strong reasoning. Even though they do deserve the A tier, seeing how their relationship continued and had some funny moments along the way. And finally, we hit the S tier, aka the GOAT tier. For the most memorable duos out there. Most of them should be pretty obvious by now. In fact, I won't even waste your time listing them. The video's over. Thank you all for watching. I'm kidding. The first one is Kakashi and Obito. From childhood rivals to war enemies, Kakashi and Obito's story is one of the most beautiful and tragic. What began as playful competition turned into a battle over the fate of the world, rooted in old wounds and broken promises. I was shivering when they first animated their final battle scene, going back to the past and to the present. Not so commonly brought up rivalry is Itachi and Shisui. Within the Uchiha clan, Shisui was Itachi's closest friend and rival. Each pushed the other's skills, but their rivalry ended in sorrow when Shisui entrusted his eye to Itachi before his death, leaving Itachi to shoulder the clan's burden all alone. Coming closer to the end, we have Tobirama and the whole Uchiha clan. Except Itachi. Many people meme about him, hating on the Uchihas for no reason, including myself. But it can be looked as rivalry, for real. His hatreds did push him to become better and develop some techniques, but his hatred also became the Senju's downfall. So going back to the Prime Senju, Hashirama and Madara, perhaps the most legendary rivalry in Shinobi's history. Friends in childhood, enemies in adulthood, their battles shook the earth. Their legacies shaped what Konoha was built on and continue to live on. They purely show how the different kind of mindset can lead to tragic outcomes. And as for the first place, the best of the best rivalry in Naruto, drumroll please, Kakashi and Guy! Whether it was training challenges, absurd contests, or life or death battles, Guy's determination to surpass Kakashi kept both men sharp. When they got screen time together, everyone leaned forward, expecting something ridiculous or funny from the very beginning. If you were to ask anyone if they loved them or not, no one would say no. Also, a friendly reminder that not all rivalries need to end up in tragedy. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know in the comments how you would rank Naruto's rivals. Also, shout out to the people who already subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. Until next time, have a great day.